Hi guys, I wanted to show you this tutorial, and this one is a tutorial on frequency separation. Some of you may know about this already, but usually used for skin retouching. But I was given the task. This is an image that I took in collaboration with the artist Ian Much, and he sketched out this person and marked it out. It's actually quite big. You don't realise looking at this how big it is, and I photographed it. Anyway, he wanted to remove a lot of these footprints because this is where we were set up, and there's a lot of work, walking around going on there. So he wanted to know how we could get rid of those footprints. So I thought about it. I thought, okay, well, there's probably the best way, because you don't want to kind of lose the color of the sand and all that sort of stuff, but you want to just replace it with something. You can just clone it, but it doesn't work quite as good as using frequency separation. So to do frequency separation, we have these little steps, and I will show them to you right now. So we're going to add a new layer, new blank layer, and then we're going to go up to image, apply image. We're going to make sure that the layer is on merged, which it is. The blending is on normal, and we're going to click OK. Okay, at this point now we're going to Command J or Control J to duplicate that layer, and then we're going to rename them, these layers. So we're going to label this one high frequency layer, and this one's going to be low frequency layer, and these are what we're going to use to do our blending and cloning and stuff on. So generally what you do what we do is we uncheck this, and what we're going to do, if you're doing skin, you want to add a Gaussian blur to this. So we go up to filter, blur, and Gaussian blur, Gaussian blur, and you might be looking at, say, the footprints of the skin texture. You'd be going like, you'd be bringing the blur right up to when you lose that texture. But in this case we don't want a lot of blur, so I've kept that right back to 0. Just clicked OK. Well, 0.1 of a blur. Okay, we're going to go select the high frequency layer now, turn that back on, and we're going to go to image, go back to apply image again, and we're going to make sure that our layer is going to be selected. We're going to select the LF, or the low frequency layer. Okay, and we're going to make sure the inverted box is ticked and our blending is set to add. And at that point we're going to make sure that our scale is on 2 and our offset is on 0. We're going to click OK, and to make sure, so we can get the picture back, we don't want to just look like a grey slab, we're going to change the blend mode from normal down to linear light. Linear light there. Okay, so if you turn this on and off, nothing's really changed. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to start cloning out these footprints. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the clone stamp tool, and I'm going to just select an area, and I'm going to rub wrong layer, sorry, we should be on the LF. Okay, we're going to option or alt click an area out here somewhere, and we'll just start to brush these footprints out like so. So you want to sample it from different places so that you don't get this too much repetition of footprints. But you can see that by doing this we can make it look fairly accurate. Now that I blew that a little bit, let's go back here, you can just see the colors a little. Now I've got a fairly hard edge brush. I might just soften that up a little bit and try again. If you keep your brush a little bit soft, it'll help blend some of those sandy areas. So I'm just looking at the image and I'm going, okay, that's a little bit dark there, let's just lighten that a little bit, and we're just brushing over, and we can see we're getting rid of those footprints quite nicely. You can add a few more if you think there's an area that needs it. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to select this area, and I'm going to try and follow that line of footprints that are already here. Like so. You don't want to sample too far away from where you want to remove some of those footprints. But being mindful, I mean the footprints all look pretty much the same, but if they look too linear then and too repetitive, then you're in trouble. So we're just going to brush all this out a little bit and try and create more sort of organic spaces. That sounds really weak. And anywhere I see it could be a little bit less on the footprint side. There we go. So you can see it's working pretty well on the texture, but leaving the colours in a pretty good state. Move in there. Take out all that, replace that stuff with new footprints. Now I haven't found a better way of doing this sort of work. Frequency separation is pretty powerful stuff, and it's quite good fun to experiment with and see what you can do. So we're going to go in there a little bit, just clean up that area, and a little bit more here. Just try and get those lines to work a bit better. And then over here we'll probably get rid of some of this stuff. You can drop your opacity back a little bit if you want to. Sometimes when you get these areas that are actually blank, they kind of don't look right. But they are. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. This footprint here is a bit of a problem, so maybe we'll just eliminate that altogether. No, maybe not. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now if we turn that, if we just Alt or Option click on the eye on the background layer, turn that on and off, you can see what a difference we've made, and it looks pretty good. Doesn't look like we've fudged it. I can see a couple other areas here that I might just go back and sort out. And yeah, looks pretty good. Let's go out a bit. Let's turn that on and off again. Let's have a look. See, I reckon that is alright. Now I might go through and clean up some more areas on this image, but that is how we can do this sort of work without making it look real dodgy. Cheers guys.